everything's not going to go perfect and you're going to have setbacks. But as long as you can make a forward movement, one step in front of the other towards your goal, you will ultimately get there and just keep moving forward, even if it's baby steps one day or big leaps the next week.
Hello, everyone. I am Melissa Forziat of Take the Doughnut, here to help you get inspiration and get donuts. I'm a motivational keynote speaker, and today I'm bringing you a Take the Doughnut interview with Hope Valentine. Hope is the president of CSI DMC, a destination event management company, where she's one of the top leaders in the industry for over 25 years. CSI just merged with 360 DG and are on track to be the largest DMC in the United States, which is such a huge deal, especially as somebody who was in the event world for a long time. I know kind of the scope of what you're taking on. So welcome, Hope. So good
Thank
to
you.
have you here.
Thanks. Thanks so much. Happy to be here.
Well, I'm excited to learn more about you and your world and your life and whatever you want to share with us. But first, I've got to know, what's your favorite donut?
I am going to go with the blueberry cake donut is by far my favorite. Yes. That was a
Nice.
brainer right there. Easiest question all day.
Oh my gosh. Is there a specific place that you get them or
I guess
anywhere?
if I am in the donut, it would be Dunkin' Donuts to give them a little plug. Yeah. It's just old
Nice.
school, been around my whole life. So it's just my go-to. Yeah.
Yeah, so good. It's hard to go wrong with a blueberry cake donut, though, and no matter where
No,
you get them.
exactly. Or anything blueberry, but yes. Yeah.
So true. Well, I said just a little bit about you up front, but tell us more about yourself. What should we know about you?
Yeah, thanks. Well, I've been in this industry, the hospitality industry, since 1997. So I truly have a passion for it. And I started just kind of entry level, literally before there was email, before we had cell phones. We would do our costing sheets with pencils. We would retype menus and we would get cassette tapes of the bands we were proposing and we would mail them to our clients. And then we do a true like follow up phone call and walk through the paper proposal. So I would say that things have definitely evolved in my 25-year plus career in a good way. But when I started out, I had a daughter and she was 2, and then a few years down the road, I had another son, and then ultimately ended up being a single mom for 12 years and having a career and really just building my career on sales and sales strategy and relationship building. I just love to get to know people and I love creating that connection. And that's really what our industry is all about. And I know that word connection's overused, but that's truly how I feel when I walk away. And I'm like, oh, that's such a cool experience to talk to them or learn that. So I did that as a single mom and ultimately met my now husband about 11 years ago. And we have a blended family, which is a kind of a cool story. So he has um, 4 kids and I have 2. So we are literally the Brady Bunch. So we have 4 girls and 2 boys ranging from 30 to 16. And so we're almost empty nesters. We're right on the verge of about a year and a half to empty nesters. And then we have the greatest gift of all. We have a 20-month-old granddaughter. So we just love to celebrate family and then look on our careers, as we go through time. But family always being first is really what we try to do in our marriage and with our family. So, yeah.
What a beautiful way to sort of combine everything into your bio. And I've got to say, I know what it's like to do events and to be in hospitality, and I'm on the other side of it now on the main stage, but I think about I think about what it's like to do an event where you get close to the event and it's just like that's the only thing that you can think about and you haven't even eaten the last meal,
Yeah.
and to
Crunch
be
mode, we call it.
a
Yeah.
single mother
Yeah.
through all of that. I'm not even really sure how you do it slash did it. And so it's just amazing to hear what a priority all of those things have been in your life.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, it's just you don't really have a roadmap, right? You just kind of it's a day to day when they say live in the present moment. Like I really truly think that if you're just, in that day, you've got your plan of how the day's going to roll out. Of quite the planner, obviously because of what we do, but also because you just can't be that busy and not just have some sort of a plan and a schedule. And, it takes a village. Like it's not, it's friends and it's family and it's people helping out. And it takes everybody just, giving a lending hand to help. No matter what you're doing, and I have a lot of great friendships that I'm really grateful for. So I don't know. My husband and I do often look back. We had 5 teenagers in the house and we're like, how do we do that? Like, we're like, well, we can get through this. We can get through anything. And, here we are. So, I thought my life was going to get a little bit quieter but then, this great opportunity, to merge. HIG private equity came in and bought into our company, and then they bought into 360, and they said, "Hey, we're going to merge you guys together." And honestly, they couldn't have found a better match. I mean, the leadership style, and then just the employees on both sides are just so professional and just so passionate about their jobs and about the industry. I'm not going to minimize the hard work and things that go in behind the scenes, but you just grind it out. And then once you get over that hump and you just have so much to be proud of, I think that we're all just keeping our eye on that ball right now. So.
Yeah, it's an exciting time, I think. And, yeah, not to minimize what you do, because I think people in the hospitality industry so often do, because it's about getting the job done and keeping people happy, and they don't necessarily know how hard you're having to work on the back end to make things happen. And so, you've got that happening on multiple levels right now in your company. And so what a time for you. And I'm interested to dig into all of this more, but first, let's hit the reset button here for those who've never seen a Take the Donut interview before. Let me just explain what that phrase is. So for me, take the donut is another way to say carpe diem. And it's all about going after the things that you want in life. And it comes from this strange thing that happened to me in college where I left a real donut on a table, but that became an object lesson for me and what it looks like to leave opportunities behind. So I don't want to do that anymore. I want to take the donut. So this conversation is actually all about going after opportunities, going after goals, and what does that look like, practically speaking, when we go to do it? And specifically for you when you go to do it. So, Hope, let me ask you this to start with. How are you with going after goals? What's that process like for you?
Yeah, I have a couple of philosophies on this. And one of the biggest ones is just take the chance. I just got goosebumps when I said that because I think back, I mentioned that I was a single mom and I had worked for another company previously, and things just were not going well at that company for them financially. And I just decided it was probably best for me to move on. And I decided to start my own business. And it was scary, and it was like what ifs, come into your head. And I just said, what do I have to lose? I mean, I can always wait tables if I needed to or whatever, but I'm just going to go for it. And that has been one of the biggest leaps of faith in myself that I ever took, of just saying I can do this. And, I always talk to I'm really big about female leadership and talking to females and empowering them. And everything's not going to go perfect and you're going to have setbacks. But as long as you can make a forward movement, one step in front of the other towards your goal, you will ultimately get there, and just keep moving forward, even if it's baby steps one day or big leaps the next week. You just have to take the chance. And that's what I did. And honestly, that's why taking that chance led into me getting a couple of new business partners, and then opening 14 offices over 15 years, and then ultimately selling, and now, combining with 360 DG to become one of the biggest DMCs in the United States. And did I have that vision? Maybe not to that degree, but I always, in my mind, I always knew I was not going to fail. Like it was going to be successful, in one way or another. So just always, I'm real big on vision boards, and just, you can't say I'm not going to get there. You just have to say, we're going to get there, and kind of figure out the way and the how on the way there. So, yeah.
So beautifully said. When you've got a really big goal that you're going after, and I have a feeling that most of your goals are really big from what you're saying, when you're going after something that's going to take a lot of time and a lot of effort, what keeps you motivated?
Funny. My husband's like, you need to learn to say no every once in a while. And I'm like, I know, but it's just, well, ultimately, I just like to do good, and I have a lot of energy, and I like to use that energy for good and use it for mentoring. And so when something is presented to me, earlier this year, I got asked to be a woman of impact in the Orlando area, and little stretched thin. And I said, yes, I would do it. And it was so rewarding because I met 15 other amazing women in the community that I would have never met before. And we motivated each other. We, had positive affirmations. If somebody wasn't, going to meet their financial goal for fundraising, we would motivate them, or we'd be like, we'll pick up the slack for you this week. So, I think is one of the biggest messages is that it's not just because you have goals and you want to achieve them doesn't mean it's a lonely ride to the top. You have to use and include people around you, and let them come into your space and let them help you, because there's no way anything that I mentioned on this podcast that I could have done alone, without support from either family, friends, community, work peers, colleagues, that kind of thing.
Mm. A lot of times when we go after things we want, challenges come up. I mean, so often it's not a smooth ride. Obstacles come in our way. And for you, I'm wondering if there's a particular brand of challenge that just comes up over and over and over again. So no matter what you're doing in what arena of your life, it just like this Achilles heel is always going to rear its head. What is that for you?
It's probably, and I've learned over years, probably if you'd asked me this question 10 years ago, it would have been quite different. Than now. But I would say the biggest challenge that comes up is just, and I'm sure this is not a unique answer, is just time. And how do people talk about broadly, oh, mindfulness and living in the moment, or, self-care and all of those things. And as we're going through this integration now, it's a lot of hours, it's a ton of travel. And I remember looking at my husband and I was like, man, if I wasn't taking care of myself right now, there's no way I could be achieving what I'm achieving with this integration. So it's a little bit maybe overused, but I really think the challenge is just finding that time to take care of yourself. And whether it's going to work out in the morning or going to meditate out in your backyard. But if you don't take care of yourself, nobody else is. So put yourself first. And I would say it's a continuous challenge. I have to remind myself of that, several times a week. I'm like, okay, stop, take a minute. What does Hope need right now to get through the rest of the day, or to get through, the next 5 hours of Zoom calls that you have, or, tonight you have your family coming over for dinner. So, what are you going to have to do to take care of you? And I would like to say that it probably is a challenge for women just in general, because we do get pulled in so many directions on a daily basis, and we're expected to be people pleasers in a lot of things. So I did go to a life coach a couple beginning of the year and last year, and one of the biggest lessons I learned was boundaries, and setting boundaries for your own personal mental health. And you're not going to feel good about it always right when you set the boundary, but on the other side of it, follow it through. And you're like, all right, that worked. Everybody isn't mad at me. And look at me, I'm happy. I'm doing what I want to do, or what I need to do for myself. So in a roundabout way, that's really what I deal with most on challenges.
And I imagine that's pretty relatable as an answer
Yeah.
for a lot of people who are listening to this. And, thank you for getting so specific with it as well, because it's not just saying time, there's a particular angle you have to that. When you think back on your life to this point, this could be a personal or professional answer. What would you say is the biggest donut you've ever taken? Biggest opportunity you've said yes to? Biggest thing you've gone after?
Oh boy. So many up in my head from
This is a
personal.
tough question when people
It
have done a
is.
lot of things. So, yeah.
Yeah, because there's been some big ones, but I would say the one that carries me through the most personally is making the decision to to open my heart and to my husband and to really go down that path and take on a family of, four stepchildren. And but the rewards behind it have been enormous. And his support, not only through my career, but through this integration of just being away a lot and the time it's taken away, has been enormous. And there's just no way I could have done it. And, it's hard when you're single for a long time to really take that leap and decide that this is the direction you want to go down and, taking on a new family and all of those things. But it's supported my career, so often and times 10. So no regrets on that by any means. And it all plays in, right? So if you're happy and you want your career to grow and and your personal life is growing as well, it all filters into the same thing. I love that book, Girls Are Like Spaghetti and Men Are Like Waffles. So it just really talks about how everything's so intertwined in our lives. And one thing affects the other and all that stuff. So I would say that's a pretty big donut. And yeah.
What a lovely
I mean, that's the
answer.
one that came top of mind, so I guess we'll just go with that one.
I mean, something's got to, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, I love that that's the answer. And what's a donut that you're taking right now?
It is 100% this integration of these companies. And it's a big donut, and you'd have to be a brave in a lot of your decisions because you want to keep things moving forward. But we don't have a crystal ball of what things are going to look like in a year when 350 employees are integrated. We can only guess and we can only try to pave the road as much as we can. But it's been a big donut. I will say that again, I always talk about your support, and working with Trevor and Shelley. And then my leadership group of seen SVPs and their leadership group, it has been amazing. And specifically, Shelley, who was the president over at 360 Destination Group, we had met a few times in the industry. And then they're like, okay, we're integrating. And now you and Shelley are in charge of integration. So we work together and talk all day, every day. We're working and we're on intense. It's intense, but I'm so grateful that two successful female leaders can come together and set the example for the entire organization on this integration is going to be good. Look how we're working together, as a team. And it's not fake, like it's real. We truly support each other and respect each other. So that has been my highlight of this whole thing is working with Shelley and just the relationship that we built. And we actually have employees that comment on it, like, wow, you and Shelley just really seemed to click. You guys really seemed, and it's just setting an example, I think, for the entire company on where it could go.
Yeah, what a tremendous example to
Yeah.
set.
Yeah.
As somebody who
Mhm.
has my own business now, but when I was working in events, I didn't tend to see women in leadership. So it's very impressive not only to see that, but to see more than one and to see them collaborating in a positive way. That's in what can be a very stressful situation. I think that's
Right. Yeah.
quite the example to set for those who are watching you. So there may be people who are watching this right now who have a donut of their own that they want to take. And it could still be an idea, or maybe they've started down the path, but they perhaps need a little inspiration to keep going at this point. So let's sprinkle some encouragement. What would you say to those people who have that donut and they're just not sure how to go forward?
Well, I would sit down and make a list, like basically pros and cons. And the biggest question is, what do you have to lose by taking the donut? And what do you have to win? And, it may be the small things on, I could not make enough money, or I couldn't be able to pay my mortgage, or people may question my decisions or whatever. But the wins are that the pros are that you can still go back. You have nothing to lose by trying. So I just am really of the mindset in creating your inspiration board on where you want to go. What's your vision? What is exactly what you want it to look like? Verbalize it, cut out pictures, put it on your refrigerator, put it on your phone so you read it all the time, and just go for it because I just don't think that you will ever regret, at the very least, trying. And if you don't try, then you will never know. You'll always just wonder if I should have taken that donut or not. And I'm pretty sure you won't have regrets. So yeah, just go for it.
Well said. I mean, for those who need a little encouragement, that sounds like the message they need to hear today. So, for those who want to follow you on your journey,
Mhm.
where can they find you? What link should I put in the description?
Yeah, I probably am. I'm not probably. I'm on Instagram the most. So we do a lot of our postings as our company and cool things that we're doing, as well as the charity work that I do, as well as my family. And I do, like to post some inspirational articles and cool things. So I'm on Instagram. It's Hope Valentine Irons.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll be sure to put that link into the description, and everybody be sure to check out that resource and follow Hope on her journey. And for those who enjoyed watching this interview, which is hopefully everybody who watched it, be sure to like and subscribe. There's so many inspirational interviews still to come. But in the meantime, Hope, thank you so much for taking some
Thank you,
time out of a
Melissa.
very
Appreciate
busy
it.
schedule and talking with
Yeah.
me.
I know it took me a couple times to get back to you. So thanks for your patience and thanks everybody. Have a great night.
And to everybody who's watching this, go out there, get inspiration, and get donuts.
Yes.
Bye,
Love it.
everyone.
Ready? Bye.